Hey friends, have you ever heard your parents caution you about spending too much time glued to the television screen, warning that it would damage your eyesight and lead to you needing glasses? It turns out that old adage holds more truth than we might have realized, as millions of children today are indeed experiencing vision problems. The alarming reality is that kids are becoming nearsighted, with a significant increase in the number of children struggling to clearly see objects at a distance. This condition, medically known as myopia or simply nearsightedness, has reached epidemic proportions, and the statistics are truly shocking. For instance, in India, a mere 2 decades ago, the prevalence rate of myopia among children aged 5 to 15 years was around 4.5%. Fast forward to today, and that figure has soared past 21%, meaning more than 1 in 5 children in the country now require prescription glasses. This isn't just a localized issue. Myopia is now considered a global health crisis. Experts predict a future where, by the year 2050, half of the world's population will find themselves dependent on corrective lenses. This raises critical questions. What is driving this widespread increase in myopia? If you're already wearing glasses, is there a natural path to improving your vision? And for those fortunate enough not to need glasses yet, how can you safeguard your precious eyesight in an increasingly digital world dominated by smartphones, tablets, and computer screens? In this comprehensive video, we'll delve into these pressing questions, exploring the very latest scientific research and studies to uncover the real reasons behind myopia and offer actionable insights. We're about to embark on a journey to understand one of the most significant health challenges of our time, equipping you with the knowledge to protect your vision and that of future generations. To truly grasp the complexities of myopia and its prevalence, we first need to understand the intricate mechanics of the human eye. As you can see from the simplified diagram, our eyes function much like a sophisticated convex lens, a concept many of us encountered in school science classes. A convex lens is designed to converge incoming light rays at a single focal point after they pass through it. In a healthy human eye, this crucial focal point precisely lands on the retina, which is the light-sensitive layer at the very back of the eyeball. When your vision is working optimally, light initially strikes the cornea, the transparent outermost layer of the eye. It then travels through the pupil and passes through the eye's internal lens before reaching the retina. The retina, in turn, is connected to the optic nerve, which transmits these visual signals directly to our brain, allowing us to perceive the world around us. Interestingly, while many assume the lens is primarily responsible for bending light rays, the cornea actually performs about 70% of this critical task, with the internal lens fine-tuning the focus. This means that when vision problems like myopia or hyperopia occur, it's often due to an altered shape of the eyeball itself, rather than just the lens. For instance, in myopia, the eyeball becomes elongated, causing the focal point to fall in front of the retina, resulting in distant objects appearing blurry. Conversely, with hyperopia, farsightedness, the eyeball is somewhat squished, and the light rays converge behind the retina, making nearby objects appear indistinct. A fascinating biological detail is that all newborn babies naturally have slightly squished hyperopic eyes. For the first 1 to 2 years of life, they struggle to see close-up objects clearly. However, as they grow, their eyeballs gradually adjust to the correct size and shape, a developmental process that usually concludes by the age of 2, leading to normal vision. Now, you might wonder how our eyes can simultaneously perceive both distant and near objects with a lens that seemingly has a fixed focal length. The secret lies in a remarkable mechanism known as accommodation, orchestrated by the eye's ciliary muscles. These specialized muscles work tirelessly to continuously adjust the focal length of our internal lens. To demonstrate this, try a simple experiment. Extend your arm, hold a finger in front of your eyes, and then slowly bring it closer while maintaining focus. You'll notice your eyes constantly refocusing, and as your finger approaches, you'll feel a distinct increase in tension or stress in your eye muscles. This sensation is due to the ciliary muscles contracting. When we look at close-up objects, these muscles contract, causing the lens to become rounder, increasing its converging power. Conversely, when we shift our gaze to distant objects, the ciliary muscles relax, allowing the lens to flatten out, reducing its converging power. This incredible adaptability, however, has its limits. The ciliary muscles can only alter the lens shape so much. When the eyeball itself elongates due to myopia, these muscles become less effective at compensating. This brings us to the core question: why do some people develop myopia, causing their eyeballs to lengthen while others do not? Scientists have proposed 3 primary theories to explain this phenomenon. The first, and historically significant, is the near-work theory. This theory suggests that prolonged engagement in close-up activities such as reading, writing, or staring at screens places continuous strain on the ciliary muscles, keeping the eyeball in a more rounded, squeezed state for extended periods. The hypothesis is that this sustained tension makes it harder for the eyeball to relax back to its optimal shape, potentially leading to permanent elongation. For many years, however, another dominant belief, the DNA theory, overshadowed this. The DNA theory posited that myopia was primarily a genetic condition, inherited from one's parents, and therefore largely unpreventable. If your family had a history of wearing glasses, it was simply assumed you would too, regardless of your lifestyle choices. However, this genetic explanation began to unravel by the 1970s. A groundbreaking study in 1969 on Alaskan tribes provided compelling evidence against the DNA theory. Researchers observed that while middle-aged and elderly members of these tribes rarely experienced myopia, the rate among children and teenagers was shockingly high, exceeding 50%. Such a drastic shift within a single generation couldn't be explained by genetics alone, especially when it was noted that the younger generation had adopted a more westernized lifestyle, involving more indoor and near-work activities. This pivotal finding reignited interest in the near-work theory. Although the near-work theory wasn't entirely new, it had been first proposed by German astronomer Johannes Kepler way back in 1604 when he was prescribed glasses. It gained significant scientific traction after the Alaskan study. Throughout history, observations have supported this link. For example, British doctors historically noted a much higher prevalence of myopia among Oxford University students compared to military recruits, whose lifestyles involved more outdoor activity. An interesting 19th century handbook even suggested a change of air, like a sea voyage, as a treatment for myopia. Today, the near-work theory extends to our modern digital landscape, linking prolonged screen time on smartphones, tablets, and computers to eye strain, mirroring the warnings our parents gave us about watching too much TV up close. While the near-work theory offers a plausible explanation, recent scientific studies have identified some inconsistencies. A 2008 Australian study, for instance, suggested that the intensity of near-work sessions might be more impactful than their sheer duration. Furthermore, a 2015 meta-analysis found that for every additional hour spent weekly on near-work activities, the risk of developing myopia increased by 2%. Yet some scientists began to question whether near work was a direct cause or merely a correlated factor, leading to the emergence of a third and increasingly accepted scientific theory, the outside theory. The outside theory proposes that the rising rates of myopia, particularly among children, are not primarily caused by near-work activities themselves, but rather by insufficient time spent outdoors, with exposure to natural daylight being the critical variable. Today, a growing consensus among scientists points to the outside theory as the most significant factor contributing to myopia. Landmark studies have strongly supported this, a large-scale investigation in 2007 involving children in California revealed a significant reduction in myopia risk among those who spent more time outdoors. The following year, a 3-year study in Sydney involving over 4,000 children tracked their indoor-outdoor time and near-work activities, concluding that merely spending time outdoors, regardless of the specific activity, whether playing sports, walking, or picnicking, was the crucial protective factor. This theory also helps explain why myopia is often labeled a disease of affluence, being more common in economically developed nations. As societies grow wealthier, children tend to spend more time studying indoors, working on computers, and generally less time outside, leading to a surge in myopia cases. To understand the underlying biological mechanism, animal studies have provided crucial insights. They revealed that exposure to bright light, especially sunlight, significantly boosts dopamine production in the retina. Dopamine plays a vital role in regulating eye growth, ensuring the eyeball doesn't elongate excessively. A deficiency in retinal dopamine, however, can lead to uncontrolled eye growth and elongation, the hallmark of myopia. Human trials further solidified this theory, notably a large-scale study published in 2020, which observed thousands of primary school children in Taiwan between 2001 and 2015. A significant turning point occurred in 2010 when the Taiwanese government launched the Tiantian Outdoor 120 program, mandating that schools ensure students spend at least 2 hours outdoors daily. The positive impact was profound. Myopia rates among these children, which stood at 49.4% in 2012, dropped to 46.1% by 2015, demonstrating that even a modest increase in daily outdoor time could significantly reduce the need for glasses. While the exact amount of daylight needed to optimize retinal dopamine production remains an area of ongoing research, a brightness level of 10,000 lux is generally considered a beneficial benchmark. Lux is a unit of illuminance, measuring the intensity of light falling on a surface. To put this into perspective, on a sunny day, even sitting in the shade outdoors can easily expose your eyes to 10,000 lux. In tropical regions with direct sunlight, brightness can readily exceed 100,000 lux. However, if you spend most of your time indoors, even with all windows and doors open, the internal brightness typically struggles to reach even 1,000 lux. This stark difference highlights why artificial indoor lighting, no matter how bright, struggles to replicate the natural benefits of the outdoors. Achieving 10,000 lux within a room would require an impractical number of lights, generating excessive heat and necessitating extensive cooling systems, making it an unfeasible environment for sustained work or study. Therefore, simply stepping outside remains the most practical and effective solution. It is crucial to understand that myopia is far from a trivial condition. While many perceive it as merely an inconvenience that can be corrected with glasses, the latest scientific studies reveal a worrying correlation between myopia, especially high-grade myopia, and a significantly increased risk of permanent blindness. A study published in the Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science Journal in November 2020 projected that by 2050, 10% of the global population will suffer from high-grade myopia, defined as a prescription of 6 diopters or lower. The higher the prescription, the more elongated the eyeball and the greater the risk. This heightened risk stems from the fact that the retina, a delicate layer of tissue, has a finite surface area. As the eyeball grows and elongates, the retina is stretched over a larger surface, becoming progressively thinner, much like spreading a fixed amount of butter over an ever-expanding slice of bread. In severe cases, this thinning can lead to a retinal tear, where the retina literally rips apart, or even retinal detachment, where it separates from the underlying tissue, both of which can result in irreversible blindness. A 2019 study underscored this danger, showing that for every diopter increase in prescription, the risk of myopic maculopathy, another untreatable condition that can cause blindness, increases by a staggering 67%. Furthermore, myopic eyes are more more susceptible to other serious eye diseases, such as glaucoma. Recognizing the gravity of this escalating crisis, the American Academy of Ophthalmology established a task force in 2019 to elevate myopia's status to a global health problem. Tragically, just a year later, the COVID-19 pandemic struck, forcing global lockdowns and confining people indoors, exacerbating the situation dramatically. A study conducted in China vividly illustrates this impact. Among 6-year-old children, the myopia rate was 5.7% between 2015 and 2019. However, after just 5 months of lockdown in June 2020, the rate among a similar age group surged to an alarming 21.5%. Imagine 1 in 5 6-year-olds needing glasses after only a few months indoors. This has even become a national security concern for China, as widespread myopia could severely limit the pool of eligible candidates for professions requiring perfect vision, such as fighter pilots. In India, the situation mirrors this worrying trend. The data cited earlier from a 2021 study showed that among urban children aged 5 to 15, myopia prevalence jumped from 4.44% in 1999 to 21.15% by 2019. This same study grimly predicts that by 2050, nearly half, 48.14% of all urban children in India will be myopic, meaning 1 in 2 city kids will require glasses. When it comes to finding solutions, a holistic approach that acknowledges all 3 theories is essential. While genetics do play a role, making myopia more likely if your parents have it, the outside theory carries the most significant weight, followed by the near-work theory. Since we cannot alter our genetic predispositions, our most effective strategies lie in addressing the environmental factors within our control. The most impactful preventative measure is to maximize your time outdoors in natural daylight. When doing so, remember to apply sunscreen to protect your skin from harmful UV radiation, which can increase the risk of skin cancer. Secondly, strive to reduce the intensity and duration of near-work activities. Encourage more physical activities, especially sports like table tennis or badminton, which require rapid shifts in focus between distant objects, the court, the opponent, and nearer objects, the ball or shuttlecock. This dynamic focusing provides regular opportunities for the eye muscles to relax, preventing the sustained strain associated with prolonged close-up tasks like reading or screen time. Many countries have already recognized the urgency of this problem and are implementing proactive measures. In 2018, Chinese President Xi Jinping declared childhood myopia control a national priority. By 2021, China had cracked down on the video game industry and private tutoring, and even terminated written exams for children up to ages 6 to 7 to reduce academic pressure and encourage outdoor play. Some schools have gone as far as installing metal bars on desks to physically prevent children from holding books too close while reading or writing. Similar initiatives are underway in Singapore, where in 2019, the Ministry of Education eliminated mid-year examinations for 3rd and 5th graders explicitly to free up time for students to play outside. Preschools in Singapore have also doubled outdoor time, ensuring children spend at least an hour daily engaging in outdoor activities. These preventative strategies offer the best hope for stemming the tide of rising myopia rates. For those who already wear glasses, it's important to understand that myopia is an irreversible condition. Once the eyeball has elongated, it cannot naturally return to its original shape. However, you can absolutely prevent further progression and stop your prescription from getting higher by diligently following the preventative measures discussed. While there's no natural cure for existing myopia, artificial methods like LASIK surgery can effectively restore normal vision. During this outpatient procedure, which typically takes 15 to 30 minutes, a laser reshapes the cornea by removing microscopic amounts of tissue. This alters the cornea's curvature, allowing light to focus correctly on the retina. Anesthetic eye drops are used to minimize discomfort, though some patients may experience mild pain post-surgery. Generally considered a safe procedure, LASIK can eliminate the need for glasses or contact lenses, returning normal vision. However, it's crucial to remember that if the underlying behaviors, lack of outdoor time, excessive near work, are not addressed, the eyes can still suffer damage or experience further elongation again. Beyond LASIK, specific eye drops and specialized lenses are being developed to slow myopia progression in children. Orthokeratology, ortho-K lenses, for example, are rigid contact lenses worn overnight. They temporarily reshape the cornea's peripheral areas, which can improve daytime vision. While ortho-K lenses don't permanently change the eyeball's shape and their effects are reversible, long-term use can yield significant benefits. These treatments are said to slow myopia progression by approximately 50%, though they represent newer technologies and are still subjects of expert debate. In my opinion, the most straightforward and effective approach remains adherence to the preventative measures. Take regular breaks during near-work activities, spend more time outdoors, and reduce excessive screen time on video games and computers. By consistently integrating these habits into your life, you can significantly increase your chances of avoiding glasses altogether, or, if you already wear them, prevent your vision from worsening. Remember, glasses are a corrective tool, not a solution to the underlying problem. So prioritize proactive eye care to safeguard your precious sight.